Hey guys, it's Riot Kitty. It's been a while since I've covered this, hasn't it? There's a number of reasons. Some personal stuff came up in the summer, so I ended up taking a hiatus. And then also this manga only has one chapter a month, and the chapters are actually quite short, so it's like, well, I should just cover multiple chapters in one video. And also, I had to transfer all my data to a new device, and when I did that, I could not find the recordings for all of the work I did, so I have to start all over again. But with that, let's just get into the video. Chapter 5 begins with John Arc standing over a cliffside, and here we see his strategic prowess when it is revealed that he is actually the bait for the Deathstalker, so that the rest of Team Juniper can jump on in and smack the thing as hard as they possibly can. It's honestly really nice. And then we get this very, very, I think, cute moment between John and Pyrrha, and you know what, it is actually plausible that a relationship could develop between them in this manga. And then we cut to Team RWBY fighting the Nevermore Grimm. Now, I think this is really good because, you know, there's like this flashback thing, and it really demonstrates RWBY's good qualities as a leader. She's very proficient in combat, and she is also very intuitive, so she's able to decipher what Weiss's and Blake's semblances are almost in an instant, and knows which combat scenario is best for the type of enemy they're up against. It's really nice seeing the two contrasts between RWBY and John in this manga. And this little moment between Weiss and Blake where they acknowledge each other's strengths is just perfect in my eyes. I think the show was really missing that. Like, they just argued some and then they were friends suddenly. So, good job, Bunta. And then we get another acknowledgement of strength from Weiss's. She acknowledges RWBY's prowess and combat proficiency. It's just, this Weiss is just awesome. Yeah, just so much better than the Volume 1 Weiss, in my opinion. And then Yang slams it in Nevermore, and then, well, the Nevermore seems stunned for a bit. Also, those don't look like wings. Sorry, they just don't. It doesn't look right. Like, there needs to be detail on the feathers, I think. And Weiss goes down to take out the Nevermore Grimm, but something really cool happens. I don't remember if this happened in the show, so correct me if I'm wrong, but the Nevermore Grimm actually blows away the entire mountain and just circles around there, just looking at the girls as their prey or something like that. This is really cool, even without the detail on the feathers and stuff. It still is pretty awesome with the dynamic angles. And then RWBY apologizes, and then it almost appears as if she starts to panic, but then, surprisingly, Weiss is the one who pulls her out of it. She's not like, oh, you're fine, sweetie, or whatever, or she's not like, oh, you suck, but instead she's like, look, if you have time to whimper, then you have the time to come up with another plan. I like that. I like the initiative from Weiss, and you know what? RWBY is the youngest, you know? She can learn from the older girls. It's not impossible, and it's actually quite plausible for something like this to happen. And then we get this pretty nice team shot of the four girls, and then, you know, we get a shot of, well, RWBY's cannonball plan. And actually, she does explain how it works. Whereas in the show, honestly, I think they did gloss over it a bit, and like they were just automatically doing it. Like they were telepathically communicating, so that was just a little bit weird in the show, but here, RWBY actually explains it. That's pretty good. And then the Nevermore fires its feathers to put on the mountain. Look, I wasn't sure what was happening here until I saw the next panel, and then there was the Nevermore feathers on the side. I'm like, oh, he's trying to break the mountain the girls are on. Yeah, I do agree that some of the backgrounds are kind of iffy and it's a little hard to tell what's going on. And then there's this nice double page spread of Ruby hooking the Nevermore and, chopping its head off. And then we get what is possibly one of the most beautiful panels in the entire manga. Now, common criticism I've seen is that their backgrounds are bad. And you know what? Sometimes they are. I'm not gonna lie there. And like they have minimalist backgrounds, but here the minimalist background actually does wonders for the composition. And then Ruby Rose like dissolve, and then the Nevermore is dissolving, and then there's rose petals falling across the panels of shots of the three other girls, and it just looks beautiful. Like I would not change anything about this panel at all. And then we cut to the auditorium where Ozpin is introducing Team Juniper, and yeah, I'd have smashed that. I mean, so Team Juniper is formed, and John is appointed as the leader. And I know a lot of people were like, they cut out Ren and Nora's scenes. Well, for me, Volume 1 was hindered by 8 main characters instead of just 4. So if they just focus on the girls for now and maybe transition to focusing on Team Juniper, I'll be perfectly fine with that. Anyways, Team RWBY is formed, and, well, I just have to say I do like the use of sketching and the lighting here on this panel, with RWBY being like, oh my god, I'm team leader now. And then Yang pretty much just pile drives her sister into the auditorium stage floor, and I really do like Ozpin's stance here. He's like, oh my god, this is happening on the stage in front of this many people. And then Roman hums a little tune to himself, and oh, I love Roman in this art style. I love it. I love it. He's so cute. Alright, now on to chapter 6. And then we get this, I think, really nicely well-drawn art of Blake in her school uniform. So chapter 6 starts off with the girls having a bit of back and forth, some banter, and you get a more feeling of what these versions of Team RWBY are like, which is always lovely in my book. And then we cut to the girls sitting in class, and we get an explanation on the Faunus and the White Fang. Only, unlike the earlier chapters where it's just like narrated, it's actually used as a funnel for information through Professor Oobleck and Pyrrha. And then they focus in on Weiss and Blake, indicating that the chapter will focus on them mainly. And then, well, Weiss is excited about the Vital Festival as decorations are being put up all around, and she gives some exposition on it because she's excited about it. See, I don't mind exposition all that much. You just need to give me a reason for said exposition. And then the main conflict of the chapter begins when, like in the show, they come across a robbed dust store, and there's actually chatter about, hey, this might be the White Fang, and Weiss wholeheartedly agrees, and even RWBY and Yang seem to warm up to the idea of such a thing occurring, as they had just talked about the White Fang in class. And then, well, Blake steps in and disagrees with Weiss, and there's some decent back and forth. And then it just keeps escalating and escalating from there. Like how all teenage girls are. And then something I did not expect was the introduction to Sun, who stowed away on a boat in the show, and I think it was just Blake who met him, but then all 4 of the girls actually meet him here when he dines and dash instead of stowing away on a boat. And then the girls actually give chase like the good Samaritans they are, and this panel's just funny. Let me look at this. It looks like RWBY is trying to be Batman or something. It's great. And then we literally bump into Penny, and I gotta say here, Penny seems to just work better in a 2D format. I mean, just looking at her, curtsying up her skirt and cocking her head back like, hi, just is super cute. And then they all ditch RWBY to continue looking for Sun. I mean, I suppose, yes, you're trying to catch a criminal. and you don't want to be held up by a weird girl. And then, like I said before, the arguing between Weiss and Blake just keeps escalating and escalating and escalating. And, like, we even get some, like, bias here from Blake and Weiss, both of them, actually. Where Weiss assumes that Sun is just a part of the White Fang, too. And then, Blake just assumes that, it's like, yeah, Weiss is at fault here. Even, and that just makes her so mad. Like, really mad. And she just keeps screaming at Blake, and then, if this whole this whole issue was a grenade, this would be the boom part. Like, right here. And then, like, they just, Weiss and Yang just both stare at Blake, like, they don't know what to do now. And then this is, like, the aftermath. Blake just runs away, and she doesn't even appear to know where she's going. She just doesn't, and I'm like, wow. I did not expect that. Like, I did not expect Bunta to just turn up the intensity on these couple of scenes to 11, I did not expect that at all. And then, Blake just stops under a bridge, like she doesn't know where to go now, and, we actually get the reveal of her faunus ears, and they look like actual cat ears. Nice. And she actually looks kind of adorable with that on. And, she's conflicted, honestly. Like, she's been defending the White Fang this entire time, and she seems to at least find some truth into what Weiss is saying by grimacing. And, hey, I see you, Adam. I recognize that mask anyway, and that chin. And then Sun gives his classic, hey, you look better without the ribbon line. And, he's like, you want to tell me what's troubling you? And, like a gentleman, actually, almost. And then, that is where the chapter ends. Since there was a lot to cover in this, I just decided to just cover 2 chapters this time. And, you know what? Next time, I'll cover more. And next time, I'll definitely make sure to back up my recordings. My Kitty is signing out.